My father's voice thundered through the living room. If you want to keep living under my roof, you will hand over every penny of that $500,000 your mother left you. You're nothing but a selfish, cold-hearted bitch. Your own mother would be ashamed to call you her daughter. My stepmother stood right behind him, arms crossed, smirking as she nodded slowly. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I simply stood up, packed 2 suitcases in silence, and walked out the door. They thought that was the end of me. They had no idea I had been turning their lies into weapons since the day my mother died. 9 months of silence, evidence, and rage. At 12:01 a.m., my brother called, voice shaking. Emma, what the hell did you do? Dad just saw the news. He's on the floor. He can't breathe. They thought I left broken. They were about to find out I left armed. My name is Emma Howe. I'm 32 years old. I'm a trusts and estates attorney. And I'm about to show you what happens when you bet against someone who knows exactly how to dismantle a lie. Before I take you into that night, hit like and subscribe. It helps more than you know. Drop your city and your local time in the comments. I read every single one. If you've ever been told you were selfish for protecting what someone you loved left you, this story is for you. Let me take you back to when things were normal. Or what I thought was normal. My mother, Diana Howe, owned a small bookstore on Chestnut Street in Philadelphia called Pages and Coffee. She'd owned it for 18 years. It smelled like old paper and espresso. She kept a first edition collection in a glass case by the window. Every Sunday we had dinner at my parents' house in Chestnut Hill. My mother made pot roast in the same blue ceramic dish she'd had since I was born. My father, Gordon, would read the newspaper at the head of the table. My younger brother, Owen, who's an EMT, usually showed up late from a shift. And Vanessa would sit across from me, perfectly polite, perfectly pleasant. Vanessa Reed had been part of our lives since 2021. She'd met my father when my mother was hospitalized for diabetic complications. Vanessa was working at the hospital then. She was a nurse. Or she had been, before her license was revoked in 2019 for medication theft. But I didn't know that yet. Over the years, she'd gradually become part of the family ecosystem, helping with errands, driving my mother to appointments. My mother tried to be gracious about it. That was who she was. I'm a trusts and estates attorney at a mid-sized firm downtown. I help people protect what they've built, write wills, set up trusts, navigate probate. The irony isn't lost on me now. My mother had been managing her type 2 diabetes for 10 years. She was careful. She tracked her blood sugar. She saw her endocrinologist every 3 months. Her A1C numbers were good. Your mother's doing everything right, Dr. Harrison told me at her appointment last April. I'd gone with her. I always did. That was 2024, when things were still normal. In May 2024, my mother mentioned she was updating her will. Just routine stuff, she said, organizing books in the mystery section. Making sure everything's clear for you and Owen. I didn't think much of it. People update wills all the time. What I didn't know was that Vanessa had been asking questions about the store's value, about my mother's assets. My mother mentioned it casually once, over coffee. Vanessa asked how much the store is worth, she said. I thought it was an odd question. I should have paid more attention to that discomfort in her voice. By January 2025, my mother started canceling Sunday dinners. The first time she texted, not feeling well, just need to rest. I offered to come over. My father said Vanessa had it handled. I texted my mother directly. 8 hours later, she replied, Sorry, honey, was sleeping. I'm fine. It wasn't like her to sleep through the day. It wasn't like her to be so brief. I drove by the house that evening anyway. Vanessa's car was there. My mother's wasn't. When I asked my father later, he said, She shouldn't be driving when she's not feeling well. My mother loved driving. She wouldn't give up her keys without a fight. February. My mother missed 2 more Sunday dinners. When I visited midweek, she seemed distracted. Tired. The bookstore was closed. Just for a few weeks, she said. Vanessa thinks I should prioritize my health. Mom, you've never closed the store for more than a week. I know, sweetheart, but she's probably right. Vanessa thinks. Vanessa says. I was starting to notice the pattern. I asked to see her recent lab work. She said she'd send it. She never did. When I followed up, Vanessa answered my mother's phone. Your mother's resting, she said, her voice sweet as poison. I'll have her call you back. She didn't. March 28th, 2025. Owen called me at work. Mom's in the hospital. I grabbed my bag and ran. Pennsylvania Hospital, room 826. My mother looked small in the bed, an IV in her arm. Gordon and Vanessa were already there. Diabetic crisis, the doctor said. Severely elevated blood sugar. Dehydration. It appears she missed several medication doses. How does someone miss that many doses? I asked. Dr. Patterson looked uncomfortable. Sometimes patients get confused about their regimen. I turned to my mother. She was awake, but groggy. Mom, what happened? Vanessa stepped forward. She needs rest, Emma. The doctor said minimal stress. My mother's eyes met mine. Just for a second. Was that fear? They kept her for 5 days. When she was discharged, the doctor recommended a home health aide for medication management. Vanessa volunteered to coordinate everything. I've got nursing experience, she said. It's better if there's one consistent person managing her care. I offered to help. Emma, I know you mean well, Vanessa said, her tone so reasonable. But too many people giving input can confuse a patient. Let me handle this. I looked at my father. He nodded. Vanessa knows what she's doing. I asked my mother directly. Mom, are you comfortable with this? She opened her mouth. Vanessa's hand touched her shoulder. My mother said, Yes, honey. Vanessa knows what she's doing. The exact same words. Mid-April. I tried to visit. My father met me at the door. Mom's having a bad day. I tried again 2 days later. She's sleeping. I showed up unannounced on a Wednesday afternoon. Gordon opened the door. He didn't invite me in. Emma, you can't just drop by. Your mother needs routine. You're disrupting her care schedule. I'm her daughter. I want to see her. And you will, when she's feeling better. Through the window behind him, I saw my mother in the living room. She looked toward the door, saw me, started to stand. Vanessa appeared, guided her back to the couch. The curtain closed. I stood on the porch of my childhood home, locked out. Late April. I called my mother's cell every day. Vanessa answered every time. She's resting. She's with the nurse. She'll call you back. She never did. I texted. The messages showed as read. No responses. Then one came through. I'm fine, sweetheart, just very tired. We'll call soon. Love you. My mother always used 2 spaces after a period. This message had 1. I stared at my phone for 10 minutes. Did my mother even write this? Early May. Gordon called. Family meeting. I thought I'd finally see my mother. When I arrived, she wasn't there. Gordon and Vanessa sat across from me in the living room. There was a folder on the coffee table between us. Your mother wants to make sure everyone's taken care of, Vanessa said. Then let me talk to her. She's too weak for these conversations right now. That's why she gave me medical power of attorney. She trusts me to make the right decisions. Medical power of attorney. When did that happen? Vanessa slid the folder toward me. Financial projections. Care costs. End-of-life planning. Where is my mother right now? I asked. Vanessa smiled. Upstairs, resting. And no, you can't disturb her. Doctor's orders. I left without signing anything. May 15th. A letter arrived at my apartment. My mother had been enrolled in home hospice care. Prognosis: weeks to months. I was listed as secondary contact. I called immediately. I wasn't consulted about this decision. The hospice coordinator's voice was gentle. The medical power of attorney made the decision. It's documented that the patient requested comfort care only. I requested a copy of the documentation. It arrived 3 days later. There was a DNR order. Do not resuscitate. My mother's signature was at the bottom. I'd seen my mother's signature thousands of times, on birthday cards, on my college loan cosigner forms, on the deed to the bookstore. The loop on the D was wrong. The slant was different. I took a photo of it, compared it to other documents I had. The more I looked, the more certain I became. That wasn't her signature. May 16th. I drove to my parents' house. A hospice nurse was leaving as I pulled up. I tried to go inside. Gordon blocked the door. Your mother specifically said she doesn't want visitors. She doesn't want you to remember her like this. I don't believe you. Let me ask her myself. She's not lucid enough for conversations. I'm sorry, Emma. Dad, please. I need to see her. His hand stayed on the door frame. You'll upset her. The nurse said any stress could. I'm her daughter. And I'm her husband. I'm following her wishes. As he closed the door, I heard it. A voice from inside. Weak, but distinct. Emma? Then Vanessa's voice, soothing. Diana, honey, you're confused. Let's get you back to bed. I called Owen that night. Something's wrong. Please. Go check on Mom. Emma, I'm on shift. I can't just. Our mother is dying and something is very wrong. You're stressed. I get it. But Dad and Vanessa are taking care of her. I started keeping a log. Every call I made. Every text I sent. Every time I was turned away. May 17th. Called Mom's cell. 9:47 a.m. Vanessa answered. She's sleeping. May 18th. Called Mom's cell. 2:14 p.m. Vanessa answered. She's with the nurse. May 19th. Drove to house. 11:20 a.m. Gordon answered door. This isn't a good time. May 20th. Called Mom's cell. 7:33 p.m. No answer. Left voicemail. 23 times. I called 23 times over 6 weeks. My mother never answered. Not once. I left messages. Mom, I love you. Please call me. Just let me hear your voice. On June 20th, my phone rang. My mother's number. I answered, hands shaking. It was Vanessa. Emma, you need to stop calling. You're making this harder for everyone. Your mother is dying. Let her do it in peace. She hung up. Late May. I was sitting in my car down the street from the house watching. I know how that sounds. I didn't care. An older woman approached my car, knocked on the window. Are you Diana's daughter? Judith Brennan. The next-door neighbor. She'd lived there for 30 years. I heard your mother calling out for you last week, she said. She was at the window. She was crying. Vanessa pulled the curtains closed. My blood went cold. What else have you heard? Arguments. Your mother saying, I want to call Emma. And then, nothing. Silence for hours. Judith had been documenting. Timestamps. Observations. She showed me her notebook. May 23rd, 3:45 p.m. Heard Diana calling for Emma. Vanessa's voice responding. She's busy. June 2nd, 11:20 a.m. Diana at bedroom window. Appeared distressed. June 10th, 2:30 p.m. Called Adult Protective Services. They visited. Vanessa showed clean house, sleeping patient, hospice paperwork. Case closed. I thought I was going crazy, Judith said, but something isn't right in that house. I requested my mother's hospice records through a legal channel. It took 2 weeks. When they arrived, I found something. A home health aide had been assigned to my mother, Isabel Ortega. Hired May 18th. Terminated May 23rd. 5 days. Reason for termination. At family's request. I had to find her. It took 3 weeks and calling in favors from colleagues who knew people in home health care. Finally, I got a phone number. Isabel answered on the second ring. There was a long pause after I introduced myself. Then, "I've been hoping someone would ask me about Diana Howe. We met at a coffee shop in Queen Village." Isabel was in her late 30s, professional, careful. "I documented everything," she said. "I knew something was wrong." She described those 5 days. My mother was lucid 60 to 70% of the time. She asked for me constantly. "Where's Emma? Why can't I see Emma?" Vanessa always had an excuse. "You're too weak. She's busy. She'll visit soon." Isabel noticed the medications didn't add up. Doses logged as administered when Isabel wasn't in the room. Discrepancies in the blood sugar logs. "I told the hospice coordinator I was concerned about medication management," Isabel said. The next day, Vanessa told the agency I was making the patient anxious. I was fired. "Do you still have your notes?" She pulled out her phone, showed me photos, handwritten logs, daily observations. Dated, timed, detailed. May 22nd, 2:38 p.m. Found empty insulin vials and bathroom trash. Count doesn't match patient's prescribed dosing schedule. Concern. Over-administration? "I kept everything," Isabel said. "I knew someone would need it eventually." June 25th. Judith called me. "Your mother is at the window again. She's holding up a piece of paper." I drove over, parked, looked up at my mother's bedroom window. There she was, barely visible, holding something white against the glass. I grabbed my phone, zoomed in, took a photo. The image was blurry, but I could make out letters. Vanessa appeared, pulled my mother away. The curtain closed. That night, I enhanced the photo on my laptop, adjusted the contrast, sharpened the edges. 2 words: "Help me." I called the police, requested a wellness check. 2 officers went to the house. Gordon was polite, cooperative. Vanessa took them to my mother's room. My mother was asleep, or sedated. The house was clean. The hospice chart showed regular care. "Your father and stepmother seem to be providing appropriate care," the officer told me later. "Your mother is enrolled in hospice. She's receiving end-of-life care." "Did you talk to her?" "She was sleeping." "Ma'am, I understand this is difficult, but there's no evidence of wrongdoing." He added almost gently, "Your stepmother mentioned you've been under a lot of stress. She suggested you might benefit from speaking to someone." Vanessa was building a narrative. The unstable daughter. The daughter who couldn't accept her mother's impending death. June 23rd through 30th. I sent daily texts to my mother's phone. June 28th. "Mom, I don't know if you're reading these. I don't know if you even have your phone anymore. But I love you. I'm fighting for you. I'm not giving up. Read." No response. I sent letters to the house. They came back marked refused. I contacted Bernard Whitman, my mother's attorney. He hadn't heard from her in weeks. He tried to visit. Gordon said she wasn't taking meetings. Even her own attorney couldn't get through. June 30th, 11:43 p.m. I didn't know it then, but that's when my mother died. I was asleep in my apartment. My phone didn't ring. July 4th, 8:20 a.m. My phone rang. Owen. His voice was wrecked. "Emma. Mom died. She died 2 nights ago." Everything stopped. "What? No one called me? Why didn't anyone?" "Dad said he called you. He said you didn't answer." I looked at my call log. No missed calls from Gordon. Nothing. "Owen, when did Mom die?" "Tuesday night, July 3rd, around midnight. Dad called me at 6 Wednesday morning. He said he tried you first. He's lying. There's no call. Silence. Then, Emma? Check your phone. Look at my call log. There's nothing. I hung up. Checked my email. There it was. From Gordon. Sent July 3rd, 11:58 p.m. Diana passed peacefully at home. Funeral arrangements to follow. Sent at midnight. An email, not a call. Sent after my mother was already dead, when he knew I'd be asleep. I wasn't given the chance to say goodbye. I requested a copy of the death certificate immediately. It arrived July 5th. Cause of death: diabetes mellitus with complications, multi-organ failure. Natural causes? Signed by Dr. Patterson, the same doctor who'd treated my mother in March. I called him. Doctor, when did you last examine my mother? A pause. I didn't examine her before death. The hospice physician provided the information. I signed based on her medical history. So you didn't actually see her body? That's correct. At the bottom of the certificate, in small print, informant, Vanessa Reed, spouse of decedent's spouse. Vanessa provided all the information. Vanessa controlled the narrative, even in death. I called the funeral home. Gordon and Vanessa had already arranged everything. Service scheduled for July 10th. Closed casket. I'm sorry for your loss, the funeral director said. Your father indicated this was what your mother wanted. My mother would have wanted an open casket. She always said so. I understand, but the arrangements have been finalized and paid for. I asked if I could see my mother before the funeral. Private viewing. The funeral director hesitated. I'll need to check with the primary arranger. Translation. Vanessa had to approve. July 9th, evening. I was granted 30 minutes. I arrived at the funeral home. The casket was in the viewing room. Closed. I asked the attendant to open it. I'm sorry, Miss Howe. The family requested it remain closed. I am family. His face was pained. Your stepmother said there was concern about the appearance, that you'd be too upset. My mother died 6 days ago. I want to see her face. I'm truly sorry. I don't have authorization to open the casket. It's been sealed. Sealed. Vanessa sealed the casket so no one could see evidence of what she'd done. I placed my hand on the dark wood. White lilies I didn't choose sat on top. Mom, I whispered. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I couldn't save you. July 10th. The funeral. The church was full. Friends from the bookstore. Neighbors. People who'd known my mother for decades. Gordon delivered the eulogy. Diana faced her illness with courage, he said. She was blessed to have Vanessa by her side, ensuring she was comfortable and pain-free. She died peacefully at home, which is what she wanted. I sat in the front pew. Owen held my hand. He whispered, "Are you okay?" No. None of this is right. After the service, Vanessa approached me. Black dress, pearls, perfect composure. I'm sorry for your loss, she said. I looked at her directly. Did you really think you'd get away with this? Her smile didn't waver. I don't know what you mean. Your mother died of natural causes. The death certificate says so. July 20th. Bernard Whitman's office. The will reading. My mother's will was straightforward. Updated in 2022. The bookstore went to me, to be sold. Proceeds added to the trust. The trust. Life insurance and investment accounts, totaling approximately $500,000, passed to me. Small bequests to Owen and a few charities. Nothing to Vanessa or Gordon. My mother had kept her assets separate. Bernard looked over his glasses. Diana was very clear about her intentions. Emma, you are the primary beneficiary. Vanessa's face tightened just slightly. That seems excessive for one child. It was Diana's decision, Bernard said quietly. As we left, I heard Vanessa whisper to Gordon, "We need to talk about this." July 25th. Gordon called me. "Come to the house. We need to talk." I'd been staying at my own apartment in Queen Village since the funeral. I hadn't been back to Chestnut Hill. When I arrived, Gordon and Vanessa were waiting in the living room. There was a folder on the coffee table. Vanessa started. "Emma, your mother's end-of-life care was expensive. Medications, hospice, medical equipment. Your father and I covered those costs. It's only fair you contribute from your inheritance." "How much are we talking about?" She slid the folder toward me. "Approximately $85,000. I flipped through the pages. Itemized expenses. Half from the last 6 weeks. The weeks I was locked out. These don't look right. Some of these medications aren't even for diabetes." Vanessa's voice went cold. "Are you accusing me of fraud?" "I'm saying I need to review these with my attorney before I sign anything." Gordon stood. "Emma, your mother would be ashamed of this greed." Something in me cracked. Not broke, cracked. Like ice beginning to shift. "Don't," I said quietly. "Don't you dare tell me what my mother would think. You kept me from her for 6 weeks. I called 23 times. She never once got to talk to me. She was too sick. She was at the window holding a sign that said, 'Help me.'" Vanessa laughed. "That's absurd. Your grief is making you—" "I have a photo." Silence. I stood. "I need to go." Gordon's voice rose. "You have a choice, Emma. Contribute to your mother's care costs, or get out of this house. You're not welcome here while you're acting like this." I picked up my purse. Walked to the door. Vanessa called after me. "You'll regret this." I turned. Looked at her directly. "No, I don't think I will." August. Gordon and Vanessa called every week. Text messages. Family dinners that were ambushes about money. Owen was pressured to talk sense into me. "They're saying you're being selfish," Owen told me over the phone, "that Mom would want you to help Dad." "Owen, something is wrong. I can't explain it all yet, but I need you to trust me. You're making this harder than it needs to be." I heard it in his voice. He believed them. Friends of the family started treating me differently. Distant. Cool. I realized Vanessa had been calling people, spreading her version. Emma refused to help with her mother's medical expenses. Emma couldn't accept that her mother was dying. Emma caused her mother stress in her final weeks. I was being painted as the villain. September. I hired an attorney, Claudia Ferraro, estate dispute specialist. I explained everything: the isolation, the blocked calls, the closed casket, the suspicious expenses, the forged DNR. Claudia listened, made notes. When I finished, she leaned back. "Emma, what you're describing sounds like financial elder abuse, potentially worse. But without hard evidence, it's your word against theirs." "What kind of evidence would I need?" "Medical records, witnesses, documentation of isolation, proof of financial irregularities, and if you suspect foul play in the death itself, you'd need an autopsy. The casket is sealed. There's a limited window for exhumation requests. If you're serious about this, we need to move quickly. But be prepared. Your family will see this as war." I thought about my mother, at the window, holding that sign. "Do it," I said. Late September. Gordon called me to the house one more time. I knew what was coming. I went anyway. Gordon and Vanessa sat across from me. "Final offer. I contribute $200,000 to a family fund. Keep the rest. Everyone moves on." "No," I said. "Show me real receipts, real medical necessity, and we'll talk." Vanessa's composure finally slipped. "Your mother died because stress killed her. You made her last months miserable with your accusations and paranoia." My voice stayed level. "Mom tried to call me 23 times in her last week. I have the phone records. You blocked me. I protected her from your drama. You isolated her so she couldn't tell anyone what you were doing. Gordon stood. His face was red. Emma, you have a choice. Contribute or get out of this house. You're not welcome here anymore. I picked up my purse. Vanessa's voice followed me. You're nothing but a selfish, cold-hearted bitch. Your own mother would be ashamed to call you her daughter. I walked out, got in my car, drove away. I didn't cry until I got home. October 2025. I stopped grieving and started working. Isabel Ortega met me at my attorney's office. She provided a sworn affidavit, 5 pages detailing what she witnessed, the medication irregularities, Vanessa's controlling behavior, my mother's lucidity, my mother's requests to see me. On May 21st, I observed Mrs. Diana Howe ask to call her daughter Emma 3 separate times. Isabel's statement read, each time, Mrs. Vanessa Reed stated, "Not right now." Mrs. Howe became visibly distressed. Isabel also revealed something else. Vanessa threatened me, she said. When I told the hospice coordinator I was concerned, Vanessa cornered me in the kitchen. She said if I made trouble, she'd make sure I never worked in healthcare again. Claudia subpoenaed my mother's complete medical records. 156 pages arrived. I read every single one. The timeline didn't add up. March 28th. Hospital admission note: patient presented with severe hyperglycemia, dehydration, confusion. Family reports patient has been missing insulin doses. Possible early cognitive decline versus medication noncompliance. Family reports, not patient reports. My mother's own voice was missing. I found a note from Diana's endocrinologist dated February 2025, just weeks before everything fell apart. Patient reports daughter is concerned about her care. Patient seems lucid and appropriate. A 1C is 6.8, well controlled. Will follow up in 3 months. That follow-up never happened. My mother was dead within 4 months. Judith Brennan came to my apartment with a laptop. She'd transferred footage from her Ring doorbell. We watched together. May 20th, 3:42 p.m. My mother at the upstairs window, mouthing something, her hand against the glass. June 18th, 11:15 a.m. An ambulance briefly at the house. I never knew about this. Emma's car wasn't there. No one told her. June 25th, 3:42 p.m. My mother holding the paper. The help me sign. Then Vanessa pulling her away. Multiple clips of me, walking to the door, being turned away. Judith also provided her handwritten log. Dates, times, observations. I called Adult Protective Services, Judith said. They visited June 10th. Vanessa showed them a sleeping Diana, clean house, hospice paperwork. Case closed. You did more than most people would, I told her. I should have done more. November. I hired Trevor Hayes, a private investigator. I need everything you can find on Vanessa Reed. What came back made my blood run cold. Vanessa Reed, former ICU nurse at Jefferson Hospital. Terminated April 2019. Investigation into missing fentanyl doses. License revoked by Pennsylvania State Board of Nursing. Criminal charge, felony theft. Pled down to misdemeanor. Probation completed 2021. And this, Vanessa had worked at Pennsylvania Hospital, the same hospital where my mother was treated in March 2021. She'd met Gordon there, while my mother was a patient. Trevor found more. Bank records through a legal contact. Large deposits into Vanessa's account starting June 2024. Total, approximately $120,000. Source, Gordon Howe. My father had been giving her money for over a year. December. The real bombshell. Vanessa's phone records came from an unexpected source. Gordon. After Thanksgiving, Gordon called me. His voice was different. Quieter. Emma, I need to talk to you. Not at the house. Can you meet me? We met at a coffee shop in Manayunk. He looked like he'd aged 10 years. I found something, he said, on our shared iPad, text messages, between Vanessa and her friend Stephanie. He slid a folder across the table, printed screenshots. May 18th, 2024. Gordon is so sweet and completely oblivious. May 18th, 2024. Wait, are you serious? You're sleeping with a married man? May 18th, 2024. His wife is basically dead already. 6 more months, tops, then it's all mine. My hand started shaking. June 5th, 2024. Diana wants to update her will again. I convinced Gordon to make sure he has financial POA. If she tries to cut me out, we have options. Gordon's voice broke. I didn't know. Emma, I swear to God I didn't know. The affair started while your mother was still alive. She was planning this. Planning for your mother to die. How long? I asked. 14 months. The affair started 14 months before your mother died. I looked at my father. This broken man across from me. He'd enabled everything, but he'd been played too. There's more, he said quietly. He pushed another paper toward me. Phone records. These are from our phone account. I'm the primary holder. These are Vanessa's calls and texts, including texts to her friend about just 6 more months. I married her, Gordon whispered, 24 days after your mother died. Emma, what have I done? January 2026. Dr. Alan Price, forensic document examiner. He compared the DNR signature to known samples of my mother's signature from previous legal documents. His conclusion? 92% certainty of forgery. The baseline slant is inconsistent, Dr. Price explained. The pressure pattern suggests simulation rather than natural writing. The terminal stroke on the H is abbreviated. This signature was copied, not written. He added, off the record, in my professional experience, this quality of forgery suggests someone with medical training. They knew what a DNR signature should look like. This wasn't amateur work. I petitioned for exhumation. The court denied it. Insufficient evidence to overcome the presumption of natural death. Decedent was under hospice care. Death certificate signed by physician. Claudia looked at me across her desk. We can still file wrongful death. We have witnesses, documents, expert testimony. We don't need an autopsy to show medical neglect and financial abuse. She paused. But Emma, you have a choice. File quietly, settle eventually, keep everything private, or go public. Release everything. Risk losing the legal case but ensure Vanessa's reputation is destroyed forever. I thought about my mother, at the window, calling for me, dying alone. A settlement wouldn't give her justice. Only the truth would. I want to file, I said. And I want every document made public. I want to release everything to the media the same night. Claudia nodded slowly. They took your mother from you. And I'm taking their reputation from them. January 28th, 2026. We filed. Emma Howe versus Vanessa Reed and Gordon Howe. Wrongful death. Medical neglect. Elder abuse. Isolation. Forgery. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. The complaint was 43 pages. Every allegation was documented. Within 24 hours, Gordon's attorney called. Your client is making serious accusations. This is reckless. We'll countersue for defamation. Claudia's response. We have evidence for every single claim. Bring it on. February. I was cleaning out my mother's bookstore, finally selling it, as her will specified. In her desk drawer, under old receipts and bookmarks, I found something. Her iPad. Dead battery. I took it home, charged it. It turned on. Password 0415. My birthday, April 15th. My hands were shaking. I opened the voice memos app. 4 recordings. I pressed play on the first. My mother's voice. Weak but clear. Dated May 23rd, 2025, 11:38 p.m. Emma, honey, if you're hearing this, something's wrong. Vanessa won't let me call you. She's taking my phone every night. I'm scared. My insulin doses aren't right. I feel wrong all the time. If something happens to me, please look into this. I love you. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you from her. I sat on the floor of the empty bookstore and sobbed. The second recording. May 28th. I tried to call you again today. I don't know where my phone is. Vanessa says I lost it, but I know I didn't. Emma, I need you to know. The DNR, I didn't sign it. She brought papers when I was half asleep. I don't remember signing. Please. Question everything. The third. June 2nd. Her voice weaker. I heard Vanessa on the phone yesterday. She was in the hallway. She said, just a few more weeks. Emma, what does that mean? I'm so tired all the time. Nothing makes sense anymore, but I know something isn't right. The fourth recording, June 15th. Barely a whisper. I don't think I have much time. Tell Owen I love him. Emma, you were always my strongest girl. Don't let her win. Make them see the truth. I'm so sorry I wasn't strong enough to fight her. I love you. I love you so much. The recording ended. My mother knew. She knew what was happening to her, and she recorded it for me to find. March 2026. Claudia and I prepared the media package. Diana's voice recordings, Vanessa's text messages, Isabel's affidavit, Judith's ring footage, the forensic document analysis, medical records with highlighted discrepancies, the timeline showing systematic isolation, background on Vanessa's revoked nursing license. Over 400 pages of documentation. I drafted cover letters, 3 journalists, Philadelphia Inquirer, 6 ABC Action News, a legal podcast with 2 million listeners. Attached is documentation of what I believe to be the preventable death of my mother, Diana Howe, through systematic neglect and isolation by my stepmother, a former nurse whose license was revoked for medication theft. I scheduled the emails to send April 14th, 11:45 p.m. The embargo would lift at midnight. April 15th. I coordinated with the witnesses. Isabel agreed to go on record. Judith would provide footage. Dr. Price stood by his analysis. Bernard Whitman provided a statement. I represented Diana Howe for 18 years, Bernard wrote. I met with her in April 2025 to discuss her estate. She was completely lucid, coherent, and of sound mind. She specifically stated her daughter Emma was her priority. What happened in the subsequent months deeply concerns me. Owen called me in late March. Emma, I went through some of Mom's stuff. I found her journal. From May. What did it say? His voice cracked. She wrote that she was scared of Vanessa, that her medications felt wrong, that she couldn't reach you. Emma, I'm so sorry. I didn't believe you. I should have believed you. You believe me now? Yes. I want to help. Can I join the lawsuit? My little brother, finally seeing the truth. Yes, I said. Welcome to the fight. April 12th, 3 days before the release. I hadn't been back to my childhood home since that day in August, the day Gordon called me selfish, the day Vanessa smirked and nodded. I drove past it, parked across the street, looked at the house. I'd moved back there temporarily after Mom died, thinking I could help Dad through his grief. Instead, I'd walked into a trap. Gordon had married Vanessa 3 weeks after my mother's funeral. By August, they were united, demanding money, painting me as the villain. And I'd walked out with 2 suitcases. They thought I left broken. April 14th, 2026. 11:30 p.m. I sat in my apartment. The media packages were ready. The emails queued. In my hand, I held my mother's bookmark. The one from her favorite book, Jane Eyre. I am no bird, and no net ensnares me. My mother had been ensnared, but she'd left me tools to cut the net. 11:44 p.m. 1 minute until the scheduled send. I thought about my mother's voice. Don't let her win. 11:45 p.m. The email sent. 12:01 a.m. April 15th, 2026. 3 outlets published simultaneously. Philadelphia Inquirer headline: Daughter alleges fatal neglect. Former nurse accused of hastening wealthy woman's death. 6 ABC Action News: Breaking alert. Breaking. Local woman files wrongful death suit against stepmother, claims medical abuse. The Legal Podcast tweeted, new episode, The Diana Howe Case. Did a nurse use her training to kill? Thread with evidence. My phone lit up. Notifications, one after another. 12:03 a.m. A reporter from the New York Times. Miss Howe, I just read the Inquirer's story. Can you comment? 12:05 a.m. My phone exploded. Former friends of my mother's, people from the bookstore, expressing horror, disbelief, support. Social media was erupting. At Philly News Now, thread. The Diana Howe case is devastating. Daughter was blocked from dying mother for 6 weeks. Listen to the voice recordings. This is elder abuse. 15,000 retweets. 43,000 likes. Reddit threads were forming. Comments in the hundreds within minutes. The truth was spreading faster than Vanessa could control it. 12:08 a.m. My phone rang. Owen. Emma. His voice was shaking. What did you do? Dad just saw the news. He's on the floor. He can't breathe. He's reading everything. The voice memos. The texts. He didn't know about the affair. Emma. He had no idea. Is he okay? No. He's not okay. He keeps saying I killed her. I let this happen. I chose the wrong person. He's falling apart. What about Vanessa? She's packing. She's trying to leave. Owen, don't let her leave. The police need to talk to her. A pause. The police? Emma, what did you include in that release? Everything. Gordon called me at 12:22 a.m. I looked at the screen. Dad calling. I hadn't spoken to him since August. I answered. His voice was destroyed, barely recognizable. Emma? I didn't know. I swear to God I didn't know. The affair. The texts. I thought she loved your mother. I thought she was helping. Emma, I'm so sorry. I killed your mother. I chose her over you. And I killed your mother. Dad, don't. Don't defend me. You tried to tell me. You tried for months. I called you paranoid. I kicked you out. I sided with the woman who murdered my wife. My own eyes filled. You didn't know. I should have. I was her husband. I should have protected her. Instead, His voice broke completely. I called you selfish. I called you cold-hearted. I told you your mother would be ashamed. Emma, I'm the one she should be ashamed of. What happens now? I asked quietly. I don't know. Vanessa's lawyer will fight this. She'll say I knew. She'll try to take me down with her. And maybe I deserve that. Dad, you need to get a lawyer. Separate from her. I know. A long pause. Emma, your mother, she left you that money because she trusted you. She knew. Somehow, she knew Vanessa was dangerous, and she made sure you'd be protected. I'm sorry I tried to take that from you. He hung up. April 15th, daytime. The story dominated every local news station. My mother's photo was everywhere. Smiling, holding a book in her store. the woman everyone remembered. People who'd known her were coming forward. Bookstore customers, friends, all saying the same thing. Diana loved Emma. She would never have cut her daughter out. Something was very wrong. Channel 6 News aired a segment. We're hearing from multiple sources who knew Diana Howe. They describe a loving mother devoted to her daughter. The allegations in this case, if true, represent a profound betrayal of trust. The hashtag Justice for Diana started trending in Philadelphia. By afternoon, the Philadelphia DA's office released a statement. We are aware of the civil lawsuit filed in the Diana Howe matter. We are reviewing all available evidence to determine if criminal charges are warranted. Vanessa's attorney released a statement. These allegations are false and defamatory. Ms. Reed provided devoted care to Diana Howe in her final months. This lawsuit is a transparent attempt to harass and extort. But no one was buying it. Social media tore it apart. At Philly Resident. Vanessa Reed's statement is gaslighting. We heard Diana's voice. She was scared. She was trapped. This woman belongs in prison. My phone didn't stop. Interview requests. People wanting to share their own stories of elder abuse. Letters from strangers saying thank you for being brave. April 16th, 6:08 a.m. I woke to a news alert. Breaking: Vanessa Reed arrested on charges of forgery, elder abuse, investigation ongoing. I stared at the screen. They arrested her. The mugshot appeared online within hours. Vanessa in handcuffs. Her perfect composure finally gone. Claudia called me. The DA wants your full cooperation. They're building a case. Emma, they're considering manslaughter charges. If they can prove the insulin theory, this becomes a homicide investigation. Gordon provided everything to investigators: financial records, text messages from the shared iPad, timeline of my mother's decline. He testified that Vanessa controlled all medical decisions, that he'd trusted her completely, that he'd been manipulated. I thought I was in love, his statement to police read. I thought she cared about Diana. I was a fool. I let her isolate my wife from my daughter. I have to live with that for the rest of my life. Owen joined me at Claudia's office. We sat together, reviewing documents. I should have listened to you in June, he said, when you said something was wrong. You're listening now. Does that count? Yes, I said. It counts. May 2026. Vanessa's insurance carrier settled the civil case. Terms undisclosed, but significant. I didn't care about the money. I donated most of it. I created the Diana Howe Foundation. Mission: to provide resources for family members navigating elder care disputes and to advocate for stronger protections against medical abuse. The first letter arrived a week after we launched the website. Thank you for telling your story. My mother is in hospice. I had concerns about her caregiver. Because of you, I pushed back. I got her to safety. You saved her life. I read it 3 times. My mother's death had meaning now. June 2026. The DA filed additional charges. Vanessa Reed. Forgery. Felony. Financial exploitation of older adult. Felony. Neglect of care-dependent person, and the one that mattered most. Elder abuse causing death. Potential sentence: 12 to 20 years. Her bail was set at $250,000. Someone posted it. She was released pending trial. But her life was over. Her reputation destroyed. Every news article, every Google search. Everyone knew. Gordon wasn't charged. He cooperated fully, provided evidence, testified. But he moved out of the house. Too many ghosts. He called me in July. I'm selling the house. I can't live there anymore. Every room. I see your mother. I see what I let happen to her. Where will you go? Somewhere smaller. Somewhere I can't hear her calling for you. His voice broke. Dad? I said quietly. I don't forgive you yet. But I understand you were manipulated too. That has to count for something. It doesn't bring her back. No, it doesn't. August. Vanessa's attorney reached out. They wanted to discuss a plea deal. She'll plead guilty to elder abuse and forgery, Claudia told me. In exchange, they dropped the causing death enhancement. She'd serve 8 to 12 years instead of 15 to 20. What do you think? I think your mother's voice recordings are devastating evidence. I think they'd convict her at trial. But trials are unpredictable. This guarantees she goes to prison. I thought about it for a week. Then I called Claudia. Take the deal. I want her in prison. I want it certain. September 2026. Vanessa pled guilty in open court. I was there. Front row. Owen beside me. Gordon 2 rows back. The judge asked her, "Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you are admitting you forged documents, financially exploited Diana Howe, and caused her death through neglect?" Vanessa's voice was quiet. "Yes, Your Honor." "Do you have anything to say?" She looked at me, just for a second, then looked away. "No, Your Honor." Sentencing: 10 years in state prison. No parole for 7. As they led her out in handcuffs, she didn't look at me again. June 2027. 1 year since the plea. I visited my mother's grave. Laurel Hill Cemetery. Her stone is simple. Diana Marie Howe, 1972 to 2025. Beloved mother, reader, friend, I brought white peonies. Her favorite. "Mom," I said, sitting on the grass beside her stone. "Vanessa's in prison. She'll be there for a long time. Dad sold the house. He's trying to get sober. Owen and I are close again. We talk about you." The wind moved through the trees. "I found your voice recordings. I heard you say, 'Don't let her win.' Mom, she didn't win. I made sure the truth came out. I made sure everyone knows what she did. I made sure she can't do this to anyone else." I placed my hand on the stone, warm from the sun. "I'm sorry I couldn't save you. I'm sorry I didn't get through in time, but I made sure your voice was heard. I made sure you weren't forgotten. I hope that's enough. I hope you're proud." A robin landed on the stone, looked at me, flew away. I stood, brushed off the grass. "I love you, Mom. I'll keep fighting for people like you. I promise." I walked back to my car. Owen was waiting. We were going to the foundation's office. We had a board meeting, 3 new cases to review, 3 more families who needed help navigating the system. My phone buzzed. An email. Subject: "Thank you. My grandmother is safe now. Because of your foundation, we found an attorney. We got her out of a bad situation. You gave us hope. Thank you for turning your pain into purpose." I showed Owen. He smiled. "Mom would love this." "Yeah," I said. "She would." We drove through Philadelphia, past the bookstore, now a cafe, but they kept the name. Pages and Coffee. The new owner asked if they could. I said yes. Past the house in Chestnut Hill. Sold now. A new family. Kids playing in the yard. Past Pennsylvania Hospital, where Vanessa had first met my father. Where she'd seen my mother as a mark. And forward. Always forward. Because my mother taught me something in her final recordings. Even when you're trapped, even when you're scared, even when you're dying, you can still fight. You can still leave clues. You can still speak truth. And sometimes, that's enough. If you've made it this far, drop a comment. Tell me your city. Tell me if you've ever been told you were wrong for trusting your instincts. Tell me if you've ever been locked out of someone you loved. Because the truth is, elder abuse happens in silence. It happens behind closed doors. It happens when families trust the wrong people. My mother's voice deserves to be heard. Every voice like hers deserves to be heard. Don't let them silence you. Don't let them paint you as the villain for asking questions. Keep receipts. Document everything. Trust your gut. And if someone tries to keep you from someone you love, fight. Fight like hell. My name is Emma Howe. I'm 33 years old now. I'm a trusts and estates attorney by day, and an advocate for elder abuse victims every other hour I'm awake. And I'm here to tell you, they thought I left broken, but I left armed.